Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Mostly.
God, this fucking movie run in my brain that I just almost forgot our intro. Anyway, welcome. If you're new here or haven't subscribed, go do that. Go on our YouTubes. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Go to all your podcasting platforms. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for listening. And we got a recommendation.
This was a request.
A request. I wouldn't say recommendation. That's giving it too high a praise.
I mean, it could be, but I'm going to say request.
I think it's a request. Dracula versus Frankenstein. And, wow.
Before we get into it, I just want to say, because last episode, during the recording of the last episode, Will mentioned the name Al Adamson.
I conjured it.
And like Candyman, he conjured it because
See,
little did Will know.
But the difference with the Candyman is you have to say his name like 5 times, right?
Al Adamson.
Al Adamson, you just have to say it once, and it conjures him.
You conjured the demon.
The demon.
Little do you know that our request to Rooney was going to be this.
I had no idea that it was going to be Al Adamson.
And what's funny is when this request came in, I put it on our list, and I didn't really look much else into it because I'm like, okay, whatever, it's Al Adamson, whatever. And then I went to the IMDb page for this movie sometime later, and I've had an IMDb account for like a long time, since I was like 13, 14 years old. I log every movie I watch, I give it a rating, and I open the IMDb page for this movie, and there's a rating. There's a rating.
You have your specific rating.
There is a 1 out of 10 rating sitting on this movie, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, apparently I had seen this movie at some point in my life.
I just love how it's so bad you literally forgot you watched it.
Because what I think happened,
You watched like 10 minutes?
is I watched like 15, 20 minutes. I said, this is shit. And I just turned it off, went on IMDb, gave it a 1 out of 10, and moved on with my life.
I wish that was the end of the story.
And little did I know.
We would have been better if that was just the end of the story, where you just blissfully forgot that you had
that I watched this crap.
You've watched this crap. You don't have to ever watch it again. But we have a podcast where we review. Who knew it would come full circle?
That it will come back to me. It will come back and bite me in the ass.
Oh my god, dude!
Bite me on my tit. And
I can't go really chronological because I don't give a shit enough to like explain, because there's nothing really that happens. I mean, it's a movie. It's more of a drama, a bad drama.
Well, that's giving it. I'll be honest. That is giving it way too much credit.
I know.
To call this a drama,
but at its core, you can't call it like a monster mashup like horror movie. It's barely that.
There's nothing to call this.
Like, it's like an hour of drama shit and then like a little bit of monster fighting, and that's it. Like, there's nothing. There's like, okay, it's a movie, right? There's nothing exciting that happens in this movie at fucking all.
Take a shot every time Will says it's a movie.
Like, that's the most credit I can give it. It's a movie. That's it. There's 3 times. Like, fuck me.
So,
holy shit, dude. Like,
so the movie. The movie is, there is a like mad scientist
at like a pier.
He has like a freak show.
It's like a cabinet of curiosity thing where it's like he explains. There's like, I guess it's. I don't even know what the exhibit really is, because it's like all you see is a fucking gorilla man and a fucking guillotine, and then some madman in a cage for a second
until he takes off the mask. Yeah, it's just like human atrocities or whatever, and he has an assistant who's completely mute and just stumbles around and needs injections of blood.
I'm guessing he's like a zombie.
It's never explained.
They never explain what it is.
Don't bother.
Played by Lon Chaney Jr. of all people,
Who's drunk out of his mind, and
yeah, you could tell he did not give a shit.
he is blazed the fuck out, and he sends him down below the pier to chop off women's heads and bring him the heads and the bodies.
We get one on-screen head lopping.
Yeah. And he then like reconnects the heads and brings them back to life, and they're just like catatonic.
Well, because so basically what he's doing is he's trying to bring them back to life so he can create a serum so he can walk again.
Not just walk again, it's
because he's wheelchair bound.
And apparently it's gonna change the world.
Well, it's gonna like heal people's ailments. So like basically he wants to heal people who have like disabilities, or like there's a little person in this movie and he's going to make him tall. Like they're like it's like a fix-all serum, basically made from blood of people who he's resurrected.
The blood of resurrected people who died in fear.
Yes.
And
so that the more frightened they are, the more potent the serum. Stop me if this is really fucking stupid, but
it's fine. And Dracula shows up, and Dracula brings him Frankenstein's monster corpse,
who he like went and dug up and sucked the blood out of.
He didn't suck the blood out of him. He sucked the blood out of the fucking guard there. But he brings him that and tells him, here is the monster. Send the monster to kill the fucking doctor who told you your ideas were stupid and put you in a wheelchair.
So
and
Frankenstein,
then that's it.
Frankenstein goes and hugs him to death.
And then Frankenstein hugs him to death and then steals a woman, and that's it.
Okay, so and then
that's the plot of the movie.
Yeah, that's the plot of the movie. Everything else is literally there's this woman looking for her sister whose head got cut off in the beginning of the movie.
Get used to that, because that is one of the only scenes of gore in the whole movie.
Till like sort of the end.
Yes.
So she's looking for her sister, and she goes to like a seedy area of the city where this pier just happens to be, and she's looking and like encounters like someone like spikes her drink, and there's like this evil biker gang that is barely in the movie.
Yeah, they spike the drink.
They show up like literally like 2 times and then never ever are mentioned ever again.
Well, they do die at one point.
They die at like the end, but like again, like they literally don't really pose that much of a threat.
No, and there's a reason for that.
Oh God, yeah. I felt cheated. I dude.
Okay. I mean, the whole movie's a cheat. It's
well, like okay, so you have Dracula. This is the biggest atrocity for me. You have Dracula versus Frankenstein.
That's the name of the movie.
Huge, iconic characters, right? Mm-hmm. You're gonna pit them against each other. We've seen it. We've seen this kind of movie before, where it's like, okay, like a big, like Freddy versus Jason,
right,
or King Kong versus Godzilla. You have to have your build up. You have to have a reason for them to fight, and then you have your big fight at the end.
Yes.
Or, I mean, in King Kong versus Godzilla, it's like the whole fucking movie. It's bad, but like,
yeah,
it's there, right? So like, at least something is happening on screen that is like kind of exciting, and you can enjoy it for how like cheesy and stupid it is.
Well, and anytime you have a versus movie,
but here
you have to have that.
But here we have a fucking versus movie where the 2 big versus people are barely in the fucking movie. And they fight in the last, like, 5 minutes of the movie.
Because Dracula kills 1 person in the beginning.
And Frankenstein kills, like, maybe 3. And that's questionable if they are even dead. Because he just shoves them around a little bit.
Yeah, Dracula, there's, like, a guard at the cemetery where he digs up Frankenstein's monster. And he, drains his blood. And that's it. Dracula does not kill anybody until the end of the fucking
You
movie.
have a versus movie that is fucking boring as all get out, dude. It is like the most boring shit you'll ever watch.
And yeah, Frankenstein, he hugs one of the, like...
He hugs the doctor.
He hugs him to death after Dracula... He's, like, driving somewhere, home, I guess, and Dracula just pops up in his car and is like, turn left. And then he turns and you see Frankenstein stumbling. And he's like, get out of the car now.
And I'm sorry, like, Dracula is not even my favorite, like, monster movie, like creature. But, I mean, at least in the other movies, other Dracula movies, he's menacing. He does, like, really supernatural shit. He can, like...
Oh, homie.
Like, he poses...
Homie.
He poses a...
Homie.
He poses such a fucking threat in all the other movies.
Don't go there.
I'm going there because
no,
they like
do not.
This is the weakest Dracula
Dracula
I've ever seen
in this
on
movie?
screen.
This is the worst fucking version of Dracula I have ever seen in my life.
The vampires in What We Do in the Shadows pose more of a threat than this Dracula.
This reminded me of that.
Yeah.
All Dracula in this movie has a magic ring, and I swear to God, once he loses that ring, he's like a little bitch.
He's like powerless. I don't get it. It's Dracula,
And
like
again,
the Lord of the Dead. Why is he so like weak?
Yeah, all of his powers are in his ring, which he uses to like light people on fire. But he himself kills one person, and he hypnotizes.
He hypnotizes.
A woman.
Okay, so he hypnotizes the doctor in the car.
He doesn't hypnotize. He just tells him to turn left.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's fair. And then
He hypnotizes one person,
just
the woman.
awkwardly points at Frankenstein.
He hypnotizes the woman for just long enough to tie her up.
Well, and he's like, your fear will like create the good serum or whatever. And then Frankenstein awkwardly lumbers up these fucking stairs. And she very easily escapes.
Well, the guy, like, remember the fucking investigator, investigator, whatever the fuck, he lights a fucking flare
and pokes it in fucking Frankenstein's face, and then all of a sudden Frankenstein turns on Dracula for a minute. For like, not even a minute, like maybe 15 seconds. Just long enough for them to escape, and then Dracula's like, get a hold of yourself, and Frankenstein's like, grrr.
That's your versus movie. Yeah, Frankenstein, after he hugs him to death, he like sees a couple making out, throws the guy around, picks up the woman, 2 cops show up, shoot at him, he just shoves them around.
I don't even get the point of this scene.
There's no point.
He just takes the woman away, and then that's it.
That's
the end of the scene, and then you don't see Frankenstein till the end of the movie.
Till the end of the fucking movie.
You don't see Frankenstein's monster. Sorry for all you people that are
Frankenstein is the doctor.
That are gonna attack me, all you horror movie aficionados that are like, actually,
it's Frankenstein's
monster. The monster's not called. I know. Okay, I know. It's Dr. Frankenstein's monster. Okay, I get it.
Dr. Frankenstein has the best death in the movie.
He does, because he accidentally kills himself. Which in the stupidest way possible. So, okay, I want to talk about this final confrontation where they get back to Dr. Frankenstein's lab, and because he's going under an alias, right?
Dr.
Duray, like deranged, but Duray. It's like almost reminded me of like the Abby something. Abby normal. You brought me an abnormal brain? But it's Dr. Duray. No, it's Dr. Duray, but like Grodin, and then the little person has like what's his name, like Grotto.
Hold your fucking
They
horses.
fucking have the stupid
Grasbo. And we have our hippie named Strange. And Rico the biker.
Grasbo, Frico. What the fuck is going on?
Nothing, dude. Nothing is happening in this movie.
So they get to the lab because they figure out that there's a trap door underneath the pier.
Under the pier.
That's where the guys like Groton, Al Groton, Groton is getting out and fucking killing these women. So they're like, okay, then they don't know how it works, right? They see the panel and they have no idea. So they're basically waiting for like something to open it.
Yes.
And while that's happening, the other girl gets chased by the bikers underneath the pier. And she's about to get like assaulted by the bikers, and Groton
shows up.
Groton shows up and fucking murders all of them.
And then she becomes the next patient.
Well, yeah, so he takes her up, and then they see that something's up, but they're too late. They get to the gate too late. So they go back up to the fucking museum entrance and get past Grizzleby's what's his fucking name?
I have to fucking look it up again. Is it Grasbo?
Grasbo? Yeah, Grasbo.
Grasbo. So it's so fucking confusing because there's Grasbo and Groton.
Groton
and Grasbo.
Strange. Like no one has like a normal fucking name in this movie. The only recognizable one is Dr. Frankenstein, and they barely even call him that in the movie.
Dr. Deranged.
He's deranged. I fucking hate this movie.
But they all go there and confront everybody.
So they get past Grasbo, and they go into the fucking museum, and they're talking to Dr. Duray. And he flees into his fucking
he tells
lab.
them what he's doing, and yeah, they start fighting. The little person falls onto a fucking hatchet.
So what happens is Grotto, whatever the fuck his name is, pushes this guy into where the trap door like lever is. And so it opens it, and Grasbo's right over... I fucking feel so weird saying these names. Grasbo's right over the trap door. So he's hanging by his cane, and the axe falls down, and the puppy... So I will admit, Groton,
the puppy
has the cutest, really cute puppy that he just holds and then puts in a cage.
While the doctor goes on fucking stupid philosophical lectures. Yeah.
The whole movie is like philosophical lectures.
It's garbage.
Like, for like literally like 40 minutes of this movie.
But those scenes especially, because it's just him going on these lectures and rambles.
Well, and nothing, like he's literally just doing that. He's just sitting in front of like a nude woman and just like saying a bunch of gobbledygook
about blood and
that you don't fucking care about at all, and you're bored out of your goddamn skull, and you're just like wishing
you're just like
you're praying,
get on with it.
You're praying that like something happens, someone attacks, like Frankenstein's monster comes back, something.
Yeah, you're just like, please.
You're just like, please, for the love of God, let something happen. But nothing does.
No, nothing.
So yeah. So Grasbo's holding onto his fucking cane. I'm sure I've said his name wrong like this whole... I don't fucking care anymore.
Grasbo.
So the axe falls like perfectly into the sand where it's laying
upward, yeah.
And the puppy gets away, thank God.
And then Grasbo falls.
Grasbo falls directly onto the axe and impales his head on the axe.
And meanwhile, everyone's fighting. There's a tussle, and our investigator man runs into like the exhibit and hides next to the fucking gorilla while the guy is like shooting at him, Dr. Duray, and
it's Dr. Frankenstein.
And he shoots at the gorilla, and nothing happens, and then he's out of ammo, and so he turns around, and he just starts kind of, in his wheelchair going forward. And then you just see him.
Mind you, so before you say this,
yes.
Mind you, he's set up this entire display, right?
It's been there for a while.
He knows exactly where everything is, and he knows how to get around everything because he set it all up.
You would assume.
That is what a logical person would assume. Al Adamson is not a logical person.
Not at all.
because you can explain now, but I just wanted to say that like
he basically awkwardly hits the guillotine exhibit.
I cannot wrap my head around.
And they like do this awkward cut where he hits it, and then he's immediately like positioned in the guillotine, and then it falls, and then his head is just laying decapitated, pointing straight up at the camera, and that's it.
Now
this is like a 3-second scene.
Now another logical thing you might ask, and I don't know why you would.
I know what you're gonna ask.
Why would Dr. Dure have a real fucking guillotine in his carnival display?
Because this movie is stupid. It's stupid.
Like, all it does is cut off like a mannequin head every other scene it shows it.
And presumably...
Well, and he even says it's like an illusion.
And presumably they have to go and reset up that mannequin head every time it cuts it off. Which is, I'm assuming, pretty frequently. But it's a real guillotine.
Anyway,
but
so
he
yeah,
also managed to knock
literally
the mannequin head out of. So he also managed to knock the mannequin out of the way, so he could perfectly position his own body where the mannequin was.
Well, I thought he got like laid on top of where the mannequin was.
This is so badly edited.
It doesn't matter because
it's so badly edited and filmed.
It doesn't matter because it's really dumb because he literally like accidentally kills himself. And this is like one of the
villain.
out of all the villains, this is probably the most threatening one because
it's the whole plot of the movie is him.
But now for some reason we take a really hard left turn. And now we're going to get Dracula versus Frankenstein. Finally, what you've been waiting.
This is an hour and like 15 minutes into our hour 30-minute movie.
Because Dracula is like obsessed with the main girl that's looking for her sister. For some reason.
That's an implication, but sure.
Well, because like she's the only one that like he's like, oh, I'm going to turn you into like
his slave?
A fucking slave and shit. And so they go to a church for some reason.
This is after their first quote unquote showdown where, you know, they tussle after Frankenstein gets the flare in his face.
Just a flare in his face.
The woman and the investigator man run away and Dracula points his ring and he fucking
zaps the guy
into flames and he dies.
Okay, so the guillotine scene and the guy like combusting into flames were the only two entertaining scenes in this entire movie, and they last for like 2 seconds. And they're fucking dumb as shit, but at least something happened.
But yeah, I guess when he zapped the guy into flames, it knocked her out. Because yeah, the next scene is them in like a church, and
she's tied up. He's
gonna do something.
Well, and Frankenstein's monster just awkwardly just stands around her
and stares at her,
and while Dracula's going around lighting candles for some fucking
and being
reason.
Awkward.
When he's like he's saying all this fucking just
garbage,
absolute fucking bullshit, and lighting candles all over the place while Frankenstein awkwardly just touches the woman and pets her.
But there's a part where like Dracula goes over and like, you know, he's about to like bite her or whatever, and Frankenstein's monster just kind of like...
I like how he's like, he just puts his hand on Dracula's shoulder. He's like, bro.
No.
And
then he's like, what the fuck?
He's like, bro, let's think about this.
And then he's like...
no. And he like pulls her back and tries to like suck her neck again. And Frankenstein's monster like flips a table up and like hits Dracula. And then they start
fighting, and Dracula loses his ring.
And then this is where he turns into a gigantic bitch.
Well, they go in the fucking woods, and they just run through the woods.
Well, and I don't understand. So a choice was made.
Oh, a choice was made. Okay, listen.
The entire movie was a choice.
The whole fucking thing is a choice.
But I love how like for some reason they make Dracula like really afraid of Frankenstein's monster at the beginning of this fight for like no reason.
No reason, yeah.
I don't understand it because he wins the fight, but like he literally like cowers in fear from Frankenstein's monster.
He runs away
and then in the woods he's like looking back like he's like being hunted by Frankenstein's monster is just awkwardly like
ambling
like slowly around this forest. I guarantee the actor could barely fucking see out of all the makeup.
They finally, like, I guess he stops running, and they rustle around, and Dracula's like, I will take you apart.
Well, we also got to mention they cut to the sky with the sun coming up, and they do this a lot. And do they just assume that the audience is fucking stupid? Like, we don't know it's about to be sunlight?
If you're watching this movie, if you paid to watch this movie in the theater, there is a high chance you might have been stupid.
Well, because they show it so fucking much. They show, like, sun peeking through the trees and peeking through bushes, and I'm just like, get it.
That's after he kills him.
Well, no, but it kept, like, showing the sun coming through the clouds,
Through
right?
the clouds, yes.
It's like, we get it. The sun's coming up. Okay.
But when it shows it coming through, like, the trees and stuff, that's later.
Yeah.
When he starts fucking awkwardly walking away.
So Dracula decides to actually, like, man up for once in the movie.
And he
rips
off both arms.
Well, he makes a threat to Frankenstein's monster. He's like, "Stop it, or I'll tear you piece by piece."
Like how Frankenstein put you together, I'll tear you apart piece by piece. And so he rips off both of his arms, and then he rips off his head.
It looks like Monty Python, like in the Holy Grail when he's fighting the Black Knight.
Just a flesh wound.
He's like, "'Tis but a flesh wound."
He keeps coming at him.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Then he rips off his head. And then he starts running back to the church, and then the sun is, like, peeking through the woods.
Well, again, this is where we get so many scenes of the sun peeking through the trees. And I'm like, we fucking get it.
And it's just
the fucking sun is coming up. And then, again, because this movie is very not aware of, like, I don't even know if any audience watched this movie, to be honest.
I mean, bold.
Because they had to have one final thing of, like, it's morning.
Yes.
Because Dracula gets knocked. He's like weak, right? Because the sun's coming up, and he's on this, like, on the door where he knocked out the church. So he's almost into the church, and he looks up, and you see the sun finally peek through the clouds, and you know that's not enough. Al Adamson's like, nah, we can't just have that. Let's have a rooster cooing.
Yes.
They literally put a sound effect of a rooster cooing.
Because they think you're stupid.
Because they're like, oh, it might be the moon. You never know. It could be the moon. So you know what? Just in case people are confused, let's put a rooster cooing.
They did that.
Oh my god.
They fucking did that.
And then we fucking get our Dracula actor.
Sucking on a sour candy.
He looks like he is literally, like, sucking on, like, a lemon.
Yes.
Like, that is his facial, like, because he's dying. He's de-aging.
Well, they keep cutting between to the sun and him, and they keep adding, like, gray fucking ash on his face. But he just keeps making facial expressions.
I love how they keep putting gray ash on his face, and what he becomes is nothing like that.
Oh, he becomes hamster feed.
Little twigs and hamster feed. So, so for some reason, okay, so he gets older and older, lemon face, right? And then they show him one final time before we see the rabbit feed.
Yeah.
And he looks like this, like it's like early. If you've ever, like, been to, like, a natural history museum,
Like an early man.
It looks like a fucking early, like, cave dwelling man. Like his skull's, like, all fucked up.
An albino cave dweller.
It looks really fucking weird. And so
then the woman comes out, and that's when she looks at the body, and now he's fucking hamster feed.
Hamster feed. It's just fucking twigs and fucking, like, leaves. And I'm like, was that supposed to be ash? Because it doesn't look anything like ash.
They could not get ash?
Like, you really couldn't get, like, a powdery substance that was gray?
They couldn't.
Was it really that fucking hard?
It was. They couldn't do it.
You couldn't, like, do a barbecue and get some fucking, like, charcoal ash?
No.
Something?
Nope.
Al Adamson was like, nah, we're doing twigs and leaves.
Can someone please run to PetSmart and get some fucking, like, fucking bunny feed?
They're like, oh, fuck, what are we gonna do? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so Dracula's supposed to be dead. He's supposed to be Ash. I have a pet hamster. Let me
hold on. I'll be right back.
And just spread it out in the form of a human head.
I'll be right back, guys. Dude.
Oh my god! And then yeah, that's it. Because it zooms in on Dracula's ring, which is now outside. Oh no! So why does she put it on and then get scared and take it off and throw it to the ground?
I'm not even going to bother.
Because she did that.
I know.
You were trying to skip that, but she literally did that.
I skipped that because it means nothing.
It does not mean anything. Yeah, you're right.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Haven't you watched all your Dracula movies and he gets all his power from one fucking ring that's easily taken off for some reason?
I remember that in every...
Yeah, every iteration. He doesn't pose an incredible threat in every other movie.
I do like how Dracula in this, every time they have him talking, first of all, the acting is garbage, but every time he's talking, he keeps almost blinking. Like,
I think the makeup was like irritating his eyes.
I think the makeup was irritating his eyes, and he just looks like he's trying to push a fat shit out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
He looks like he's desperately trying to push the final shit out of his ass. And he just keeps like making this face, and I'm just like, they thought they were doing something. They thought they were doing something.
It literally was like fucking like Nandor. Like 70s Nandor.
So the other thing that I saw that
From What We Do in the Shadows, if you haven't watched it, please watch it.
That broke my brain about the stupid ass movie.
Oh god, yeah. Now we have to talk about the trivia that we found out.
I looked it up, and it says that they filmed this movie
in 69, right?
In 1969, I believe. And they filmed the movie, and then a year later, someone was like, hey, this needs to be a horror movie. So they went back, and they added in Dracula and Frankenstein onto the existing movie. So in a way, they Frankensteined the fucking movie.
So my real question, okay, so
Pray tell, what's your question?
So they shot the entire movie, right? And they ended the Dracula and Frankenstein. So that would mean that Lon Chaney Jr. and the guy in the wheelchair were part of the original movie.
Yes.
What the fuck were their roles in the? I'm guessing
Dracula. Well, Dracula has no bearing on the Doctor plot.
Oh, okay. So
if you really think about it,
it was supposed to be like an evil doctor.
So the original movie, I mean, here's the thing:
it's like an evil doctor doing experiments.
The original movie is still in complete fucking shit because.
Oh yeah, because it's still just about like someone beheading women, putting them back together, draining their blood, and then trying to like create life.
But instead of Dracula and Frankenstein, the original movie also had more of the biker gang doing shenanigans.
Isn't it sad that this is Lon Chaney Jr.'s last role?
It's sad. There's much sadness in this film.
There is. But that is insane to me that they literally had this movie which was already dog shit, and then they decided to put Frankenstein's monster and Dracula into it, and it is even worse shit.
That's the best they could do. And like I said, Al Adamson, this is not his best work.
Which is a pretty fucking low bar. Like, if you're looking at the fucking filmography of Al Adamson, and you're saying this is not his best work, it's probably one of the worst ones.
Well, because every other movie that we watched of his, it has those moments sprinkled through of just complete fucking stupidity and insanity.
Where it was like so dumb it was entertaining, right?
Yeah.
Where it was like so like, okay, like that's really fucking stupid, but I'm laughing my ass off.
Or there would be like random car explosions, random fucking gratuitous nudity, like.
Well, and it's weird that it's like his most tame movie.
Yes.
It's tame. It's boring.
Yes.
It's such a vanilla soft serve of a movie. There's nothing. There's no fucking flair. There's nothing exciting. There's just nothing here. There's nothing to like grab you. There's nothing to be like, hey, you need to keep watching this movie because it's going to be entertaining. There's going to be something exciting. There's going to be something so stupid it's silly. It's like there's going to be something worthwhile in this movie. No, there's nothing.
That's what I kept saying. That's especially like halfway through the movie when it really just clicked for me. Halfway through the movie, I was just like, they have nothing. They
No.
have absolutely nothing to offer. They had one woman's head get decapitated in the beginning for gore, and then the rest of the movie has nothing.
Because the rest of the death scenes aren't even like they're most of them are off screen, and the ones that are on screen are lame. And,
there's nothing to them.
And I mean, the only exciting scenes are like the fucking Grisby or Grasbo killing himself on a fucking axe, and the guy accidentally guillotining himself. Other than that, it's just like there's nothing here.
There's nothing.
There's 3 exciting scenes in an hour and 20-minute movie.
That's it.
And they're like seconds long. They're not like, it's not like you're like lingering on them and like remembering them.
Yeah. The rest of it, from that decapitation all the way to them having the showdown with Grasbo and Groton and Dr. Frankenstein, there is nothing in here.
It's just people talking.
People talking, people sort of falling in love, nonsense, not like... There is nothing exciting. There's not a single thing exciting.
The way the fucking, like, the sister meets, like, the main guy is so fucking stupid.
Not even...
Getting drugged and, like, having this weird trip, and then he, like, takes her back to his pad, and then they fall in love. Like, that's...
Yes.
That's it. That's it. Even that's not, like, okay. I'm not compelled by that. It's just stupid.
Yeah, there's nothing here. There's nothing here.
He's just fucking stupid. Here. I want to just fucking get this. I hope whoever recommended this is happy. And I'm hoping that this is your reaction to this movie as well. Because I don't know if I can trust anyone that even thinks this movie is entertaining.
Yeah, there's not enough for me. And I say this as,
we've watched, like, we have almost 250 episodes. There's a lot of shit we've watched. And there's a lot of good shit we've watched. There's a lot of, like, movies that are so bad they're entertaining. This is just bad.
Yeah, this is just kind of...
Every once in a while we'll get a movie where we just, like, I don't ever want to fucking even think about this movie. And I probably won't. I'll probably forget about it right after this review.
Just like me.
Like, I don't even fucking care. I'm glad to fucking forget it because there's no memorable scenes.
Yeah, there's nothing of value in this thing.
And, like, I'm sure more people are going to recommend another Al Adamson movie that we haven't watched. And maybe... Good luck finding this movie, though. I mean, there's a really, really awful rip, apparently, on YouTube.
Yeah, otherwise...
we got it through other means.
I had to dig hard to find this beauty.
I mean, we found a good rip. It looked good.
In glorious, pristine HD.
I can give it one good thing.
What?
At least the camera moved.
Wow.
I know.
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
I know. That is literally the only, and that's sad. That's like the only that's the only praise I can give it is the camera moved. It's not his typical like still shots.
Al Adamson doesn't do still shots though.
That's true.
He likes moving the camera, especially when there's boobs on screen.
There was like, again, there's like a few boobs on screen, but for an Al Adamson movie. There's like nothing.
Do you remember Angels, Wild Women?
Yes.
Do you remember the ending of that?
Yes, I do.
The dude just goes back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, I can't hit it.
Yeah.
I can't
hit him.
And they fly off a cliff. Or the fucking, the way the villain dies in Black Heat. Where he like falls and like gets impaled on something. And then his last thing, he doesn't even say a word. He just looks at the camera, at our hero. But he's looking at the camera and just like lays there. And then flips him off.
Yeah.
And then dies.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
There's
like,
nothing
like that
here.
I'm not going to remember. Like, when we're talking about Al Adamson, inevitably, again, there's nothing that I'm going to bring up in this movie that's memorable.
Yeah, there's
like you just did two memorable scenes from other Al Adamson movies. There's nothing in this movie that I would ever bring up again.
There's nothing that comes close to that level of just absolute memery.
Flipping him off and then dying.
He dies.
I love it.
It's just ridiculous. But there's nothing like that here. It's just...
Well, and now it makes sense that there was 2 writers, right? Because there was a person to write the original script, which was already fucking atrocious.
And then someone
had to write in Dracula and Frankenstein.
And then they wrote that in.
This is a pathetic use of a cash grab that probably got no fucking money whatsoever. Do you think anyone went to fucking see this when it came out?
Some idiot, I'm sure, went to see this. It's just, this is such a beautiful, perfect example of a cash grab.
It is.
It's like the most perfect example I could think of a stupid cash grab where...
The fact that they had a fucking movie... And they're like, oh, shit, this isn't going to make any money. Okay, what do we do?
Well, it's like, just, like, I'm looking at the poster right now. And, you know, the poster has Dracula and Frankenstein fighting. And it says, you know, the kings of horror battle to the death. And then below that it says, together in one film, they meet in a fight of fright. And it's like, you look at this poster, this is a scam.
Well, yeah, because they're barely in the movie.
This is a bullshit scam movie.
The verse is like 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. This is like, it's like those stupid fucking Asylum movies, you know, the stupid ripoffs, where it's like, you know, they would make like those stupid like
Snakes on a Train, for instance.
Yeah, or
something to like...
What was it? Atlantic Rim.
Something to confuse like parents on a movie night. To be like, oh, like this is that new like Hollywood movie. Let's rent that.
Or there's like I Am Omega instead of I Am Legend.
Yeah, like
Transmorphers.
Yeah.
But it's like that level of like just fucking scam. It's a fucking scam movie.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's like it's tricking people into thinking that it's a movie that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is not a versus movie.
No.
There's no shot you can call it a fucking versus movie.
Just because you have them tussling in the fucking day for night woods at the end it's not enough, boy.
Like you said, it's a scam. They scammed people into thinking that this was a different movie, and it's not.
Yep. It's a bullshit scam movie.
Fuck this movie. Fuck Al Adamson.
Yeah. And it's like one thing to have, because, you know, I mean, obviously, low budget movie, whatever. Every low budget movie has a poster that makes it look way more epic than it is.
Well, right, yeah. I mean,
but it's one thing to do that, and it's another thing to call the fucking movie Dracula versus Frankenstein.
If you look at all our thumbnails, right, they're all the posters in the movies. You can, well, I mean, some on YouTube are like screenshots from like our favorite moments.
Yeah.
But most of them are the posters where you can see like the painted posters and like stuff. Usually there's a lot of stuff that's like not anywhere in the movie.
Where it makes the movie look much more
like it just
insane.
makes it look fucking nuts and like just like absolutely just like epic.
Because they want to
That's
catch
the whole
your
point,
eye,
though, right? That's the whole point of a poster. It's
advertising.
It's promo.
Yeah.
It's promotional material. That's the whole point. But the fact that they just like name alone, they're like, this is gonna make money.
Is the movie.
Because Dracula versus Frankenstein will get asses in seats, and I guarantee it did not. There's a reason no one has fucking seen this movie.
Yeah, no one's, no one's sitting around every Halloween being like, okay, guys, it's time. It's time to watch my favorite...
Our feature presentation.
My favorite Monster Mash. Dracula versus Frankenstein from 1971.
Go watch Monster Squad if you want a...
Dude, yeah, like...
a Monster Mash movie.
Fucking watch Monster Squad. Watch literally any Dracula movie.
Literally.
Fucking
or any Frankenstein movie.
Any Frankenstein movie. It doesn't matter. Like,
just go watch any other fucking movie. If you want
hell, you could probably go on like YouTube and type in Dracula versus Frankenstein and find like a video that some kid
like
shot
a fan
in the
film,
woods.
and it's probably better.
It'll probably be more exciting.
Like with like 300 views, you could like easily go find something that's infinitely more entertaining.
Infinitely more entertaining than this dog shit movie. Shitty to pretty.
Dude, do we even have to do this? 1.
Nah.
If I could give it a 0, I would.
Nah. Just because It did have those few tiny
You
laughs.
giving it like a 2?
I'm giving it a 2. A 1 is not...
I guess a 1 is reserved for those like very special movies that
truly...
like literally truly like are like the lowest of the fucking low, where it, because the like I said, this movie's biggest sin is it's just boring.
Yes.
It's just woefully boring. Like nothing fucking happens except for those three exciting scenes.
If it didn't have those things, I would 100% say this is a 1 out of 10.
And Dracula didn't turn into rabbit food, which was hilarious. So, and he's a complete bitch in this movie. So, you know what? A 2 is good. A 2 is serviceable. I'll agree with that. I'll agree, because you're right. 1 is reserved for like savage water. And
I
like,
mean, I do think it's funny, you know, going along with your thing about what we do in the shadows. I do think it's funny that the actor who plays Dracula is credited by the name Xandor.
I wonder.
Which is not his real name.
Really?
Yes, because that's not a name. His birth name is Raphael.
Okay. Because he has a weird fucking credit name.
Yeah, it's Xandor, which honestly, blow it out your ass. Like, give me a fucking break, dude.
I don't understand it. Like, he could have been fine if it wasn't an Al Adamson movie.
I don't know.
I mean, he was tall enough.
That's it.
Like, that's literally the only praise.
There's nothing here. There's just nothing.
I can't. I'm like grasping at fucking straws.
Like, there's not even a single there's not even a single bit of like acting or anything in this that I could be like, okay, that's fine.
Even Frankenstein's monster fucking sucks.
Oh, Frankenstein's monster looks like he got bit by a bee. Okay, no, I'm right.
And then lumbers around like a drunk man.
When he lumbers around, the bee sting effect. I don't know why, but when he's like laying down, it doesn't look as horrible as when he's walking around. Because when he's walking around, for some reason, it just literally looks like he has a fucking tumor on his head.
It's true.
Like. And again, I'm sure it's even better because we're watching this in HD, so all the imperfections are right there. But come on, man, just come on.
It's just a cash grab, like we've said before. It's blatantly and probably unapologetic
100%
unapologetic about the fact that it's a total scam movie.
Yep.
There is no reason to watch the scam movie. If you do want to find it, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. But if you really want to watch it, just find the fight scene, and that's all you really need.
Yeah.
That's all you really need, because if you want to actually see the versus part of it,
that's it.
Just find the fucking fight scene between Dracula and Frankenstein that's like 3 minutes long, and there you go. There you go.
Great film.
Perfect.
That's what you see. That's what you want to see in a versus movie.
3 minutes of versus. Because God forbid they couldn't even make like an epic conclusion.
Dude, you know, it's an Al Adamson movie. I never expected an epic conclusion, but I would at least I had expected at least.
He does love explosions, so why didn't Dracula explode? That would have at least been something.
There's no explosions in this.
No, nothing.
That's why it's so stupid. All of his other movies have like at least like a junk car flies off a cliff and explodes.
Is this like his attempt to lobotomize his audience? Because it kind of worked.
This is magnum opus. I'm pretty sure if you look this up, this is his most famous movie, which is fucking pathetic.
Yeah, because he has better movies.
Because honestly, you're better
out of his filmography. Go watch Angels, Wild Women.
No, just
or Dynamite Brothers.
Dynamite Brothers
or Black Heat.
Watch. I'm not joking. Every other movie we watched of his, for me, had more to it than this dog shit.
Well, it's because that's entirely true. I think that's subjectively true. Like, anyone would say that.
Yeah, those other movies didn't have two fucking iconic monsters, but honestly, it probably helped because...
Well, okay, those other movies didn't need that, though. They weren't scams. They were just what they were.
It was just, Al Adamson wants to make his wannabe biker movie. Al Adamson wants to make a wannabe kung fu movie. He wants to make a wannabe blaxploitation movie. It's like,
But they weren't like
that's fine.
They weren't like just blatant cash grabs. He didn't like at the last second decide to make a motorcycle movie, or at the last second decide to make a blaxploitation movie. It's like he thought at least he had the wherewithal to follow that thread through, right? But in this one, it was like it was a weird evil scientist biker movie that he just at the last second was like, "Fuck it, let's add Dracula and Frankenstein into the movie."
And that's the thing, is like I don't know if it was his idea or the producer.
It was someone's idea, and it was
but
I mean, it already would have been, like I said, it already would have been a fucking awful movie.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
like it would have been trash because there's barely any Dracula and Frankenstein. So we probably would have had the same review, but it would have been
less of a scam.
Less of a scam. It would have at least been just an evil scientist movie.
Yeah,
which would be better, like the layer of Dr. fucking.
I almost said Dr. Magoo for some reason.
Dr. Magoo, like he got Dr. Evil, like he's just Dr. fucking
Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
well, that makes sense because no other character in the movie refers to him as Dr. Frankenstein,
except for Dracula,
because it's a
because they refilmed it to be like, you're going by the alias of Dr.
Your
Dre.
real family name
is Dracula, so it's explained in one fucking line of the movie.
Because it's a bullshit.
And then no
movie.
one fucking calls him that at all.
It's a bullshit movie.
Fuck this movie. Fuck you, Al Adamson. No, I'm sure you're a great guy, but like,
I'm sure you're a fun. I'm sure you're just a bag of joy to be around.
But like, holy shit, dude! Like, why did you make this piece of shit? Yeah. So they mostly come out at night. This has been Will.
This has been Alex,
and we will talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.